service to a fault.
Matlock returns, part of CBS Premiere Week.
America.
Starting off your Wednesday with some sunshine, but we increased the cloud cover, temperatures getting to the lower 80s, and some of us might see some relief in the air quality. More details coming up next.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, we'll have some of the latest results from this year's special election in Michigan. Plus, tonight was the first meeting for the newly added e-bike task force in the city of Marquette. We'll go over some of what was in the agenda. And a new proposal aims to raise $1.7 billion a year by taking more in taxes from those making over $500,000 a year in the state. Your 19 News at 11 starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 11.
All right, a good your forecast. Of course, we are still talking about air quality, but if we take the air quality out of it, if we just look at the low temperatures and the sky conditions for tonight, things are nice, quiet and calm. Temperatures in the lower 60s, some upper 50s in there too. Things are quiet. There was a brief shower earlier, but not looking at too much rain really for tomorrow, but maybe Thursday. I'll talk about your first warning weather futurecast. I'll have your 7-day, all that and more coming up in just a few minutes.
Kelly, thank you very much. Champion's new Township Hall held its special election today, voting on a list of general renewals for the area. The township saw staggered votes throughout the day as millage elections see less voters than at a regular election. WZMQ's Andrew Hands visited the Township Hall to get a look at the polling situation.
Today, Champion Township hopes to keep its funding steady as the community voted whether or not to renew 3 key millages in the August 5th special election. These include current standings in its general fund operating millage of 5 mills, financing emergency medical services of 1 mill, and the road fund repair and maintenance millage of 2 mills per $1,000 of taxable property value. Throughout the day, the Township Hall saw a lighter amount of voters than it would at a regular election, which is commonly expected with a millage vote, but voting staff still highly reflected its importance.
We started at 7 a.m. It's been kind of light so far today. Not many people, as we were saying earlier, show up for, millage stuff, as they should, because it's part of your taxes and whatnot. So it's pretty important stuff. People need to come out here, get out and vote,
If passed, the renewals will be in place from 2026 through 2030. Without a passing renewal, the vote may need to be readdressed in the fall, with probable changes making their way to the ballots as well.
This is going to allow us, if this passes, to continue on as we have been. If it didn't pass, we'd do a little head scratching and maybe have to come back to the voters at a different time again.
Reporting in Champion Township, Andrew Hands, WZMQ 19 News.
The Township General Fund, Emergency Medical Services, and Road Repair and Maintenance millages all passed in separate majority votes. Voting is wrapped up earlier tonight in Marquette County, where residents cast ballots on a sinking fund millage renewal for Negaunee Public Schools. It passed with just over 1,000 votes for yes and just under 630 for no. The renewal will continue funding for building improvements, transportation upgrades, and school security measures. Election officials say turnout was steady throughout the day, with nearly 600 absentee ballots returned ahead of Tuesday. One voter we spoke with says the issue struck a chord with the community.
Prides itself on its schools, and it's worth investing in that point of pride to bring people to the community and to bring jobs, bring families. People care about their schools pretty deeply. They care about the Negaunee community, and at a time with more political tension than usual, it stands to reason, I think.
In terms of percentage, the millage was passed 61% for and 39% against. They seem to be everywhere. We're talking, of course, about e-bikes. With their growing popularity comes potential problems. Our own John Truitt attended the first meeting of Marquette's e-bike task force and tells us how it went.
After concerns over e-bike safety on the Lakeshore multi-use path, the Marquette City Commission empowered an e-bike task force to look at the problem. Tonight was their first meeting.
This is going to be very tough. I know we have a broad range of opinions from both sides of
ranging from those people who want no e-bikes, no e-vehicles at all on the bike path, to those who want to be able to take whatever vehicle they want on the bike path.
Tonight's gathering was more of an organizational meeting. However, once assembled, the committee began diving into some of the tough questions, like how to regulate behavior on the path.
It comes down to a matter of etiquette. I think if we all just had common courtesy and followed basic rules of the road, and we're basically aware of other people's being on the path, it would not be a problem at all.
Currently, only Class 1 e-bikes are allowed on the multi-use path. These are e-bikes with no throttle and a top speed of 20 miles per hour. The task force will solicit input from bikers and the non-riding public, who also need to follow the rules.
You don't walk 3 or 4 abreast on the bike path. You stay to the right. Don't have your dog on a 12-foot flexi lead, but have your dog on a well-controlled right next to you.
The task force will not initiate any new laws. They were assembled to gather information and come up with recommendations for the City Commission. The task force hopes to complete their mission by December 21st. In Marquette, John Truitt, WZMQ 19 News.
The task force has plans for a future public forum where residents can voice their opinions on e-bikes on the multi-use path. A new ballot initiative is looking to close funding gaps in public education with a tax on Michigan's wealthiest residents. Our Michigan Capitol correspondent, Sophia Murphy, has more on the Invest in My Kids campaign and their work collecting signatures for the 2026 ballots.
A coalition of educators, parents, and advocates is pushing for a constitutional amendment to raise $1.7 billion a year for Michigan public schools.
Public education is the cornerstone of a strong society and strong communities.
They say the money would be earmarked for smaller class sizes, career and technical education, and efforts to recruit and retain teachers.
So this really is about our kids and our educators, and I think that it's important that we keep the focus on that.
The Invest in My Kids petition proposes a 5% tax surcharge on the top 1.7% of earners in Michigan.
And this 5% is only on every dollar over $500,000 for single filers or over $1 million for joint filers. So it's really targeted to only hitting the folks who can afford to pay their fair share.
Jess Newman, member of the Invest in My Kids initiative, says it's about fairness.
They just got a massive tax break. So what we're actually saying is, we're crunching the numbers right now. This is probably still a net savings for these folks, even if we're asking them to pay this modest fair share tax.
With federal cuts to the Department of Education and state funding stretched thin, Newman says it's more important than ever to have a special pot of funding dedicated to Michigan schools.
No matter where you live in the state, you deserve a free, appropriate public education, high quality education.
Newman says the campaign will be working all around the state to meet their goal and spread their message. The Invest in My Kids coalition has to collect over 400,000 signatures to place the measure on the 2026 ballot. From Michigan's capital, Sophia Murphy, WZMQ 19 News.
Today, the FBI released positive news about crime statistics. Crime around the country in areas ranging from murder to robbery is down. Erica Brown has more.
The FBI says violent crime fell across the country by 4.5% last year. Murder dropped almost 15%. Chicago has seen the change. At the height of the pandemic, more than 800 people were murdered in Chicago in a single year. Now murders in the Windy City have fallen more than 30% from the same time last year. Homicides have also dropped significantly in major cities such as Philadelphia and Los Angeles. It's not just homicides. The FBI says robberies decreased by nearly 9% and auto theft dropped by more than 18% nationwide.
So there were significant changes in national crime patterns, and you really need to extrapolate this data down to your individual city to see what the changes are in your particular area.
In New York City, police department data shows major crime has steadily declined in the last 3 years, in spite of last week's deadly Midtown Manhattan shooting, which left 4 dead and 1 seriously injured. Mayor Eric Adams announced this week that shootings are down in the Big Apple, with 412 shooting incidents and 489 victims during the first 7 months of 2025. Those numbers are lower than previous record low years.
We are not just passing the test, we are resetting the curve.
The drop in crime reflects a trend. After an initial spike in crime immediately following the pandemic, crime has, on average, steadily declined.
Since the COVID time period, the last couple of years, the recruiting and retention efforts that have been made are starting to pay off because now you have more officers on the street than you did several years ago.
The overall number of hate crimes also decreased slightly in 2024 compared to 2023.
Kelly Rowland has your first warning weather forecast when we come back. Plus, the Schoolcraft Conservation District's native plant sale is back. We'll tell you how these plants do more than just look pretty. We'll be right back in just a couple.
19 News is brought to you by Kirkish Furniture.
Looking for a car that won't fall apart on the way home? Bam! Come to John's Auto where cars are clean, run great, and don't smell like french fries. Does your car need a tune-up? Bam! Service department. Do you want your car to sparkle? Bam! Detailing department. Need a quieter sister? Bam! Wait. For the best pre-owned cars, the best service, and the best detailing, come to John's Auto Marquette.
Closed captioning sponsored by Range Bank of Upper Michigan.
It's the highlight of the summer, the Marquette County Fair. Livestock, classic cars and tractors, live music and performances, art, games, and of course, the food. With new additions this year, the fair has something fun for everyone. The 2025 Marquette County Fair, August 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Marquette County Fairgrounds. It's fun for all ages.
She's fair.
Untrue, Your Honor.
What, you're going to have your turn.
She's inquisitive.
What in the world led to this young lady finding you in this compromising situation?
And firm.
The only thing that matters in this particular courtroom, sir, is how I see it.
Watch Equal Justice with Judge Ebony K. Williams.
Weekdays on WZMQ CBS. Now, WZMQ TV 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
Welcome back. Things have really been consistent over the past few days in terms of the heat, staying on the mild side, slightly above average, but of course still seeing the air quality issues. But for today, 79 when that high temperature average is 76, and there was a 1/10 of an inch of rain. So there was a brief period of shower. You may have seen it, you may have not, just depend where you are, but that 1/10 of an inch was for Marquette. We really should stay into that light rain accumulation range for any rain that wants to fire up for tomorrow. Not overly impressed by anything severe by any means, but once we get to Wednesday evening, can't rule out isolated thunderstorm or two, especially as it moves through, gains a little bit of strength, might want to band together with a few other cells, so we'll monitor it. We are in a general thunderstorm risk for the Storm Prediction Center, and really once we get some rain going, I think some more will carry into Thursday too. So really Wednesday and Thursday, that's our next best chance of rain. Now rain doesn't completely cancel out any air quality issues in the area. It does help to kind of wash away any pollutants, particulate matter that might be in the air, but we are still seeing the gray on our weather alerts. This is the air quality warning. Of course, you know this by now. Close the windows at night, have the air conditioning in your car recirculate instead of pulling from outside. For now, the air quality alert is for Thursday until midnight, but there is some hope. The southern portions of the Upper Peninsula might see a brief relief in the air quality for tomorrow, and that's because of the southeast winds that will actually help to push any of that smoke out of the area. But for right now, in the overnight, we will stay into the hundreds. That's in that unhealthy range for some of us with the heart issues, the lung issues, and things will start to improve by the weekend. But of course, once we get the northwest wind back in effect, it's essentially going to be pulling straight from the source of those fires, and that's why we've been seeing really dense smoke cover over the past few days, and it fluctuates. We are in a bad period right now where we have some of the more dense smoke. I'm sure you have seen it, I'm sure you have felt it, and it is something we will have to deal with because thousands of acres of wildfires are burning into Canada. But here's that relief that's likely going to be on the way. You'll see the blue, that's the lower end, that's the good range for the smoke, and we really should be much better air quality wise for Wednesday, especially for the southern portions of the Upper Peninsula. So we'll get some relief, we'll have some clearing, we'll get some nice sunshine Tomorrow, in case you want to get out for a little longer, if you've been nervous with the air quality, I think tomorrow should be a better day to do so instead of some of the past days that we've had, and the UV index will stay around 7 into the weekend. Now, of course, we look beyond that. We are still going to see that last push of summer heat, still going to be trending warmer than average, so we should be in the mid to upper 70s, 76 for that high temperature, and we will see above that, especially for areas in the southern Upper Peninsula over the next 7 days. So a few scattered showers and storms that will track for Thursday and Friday just into the weekend. Things should be pretty quiet into the week ahead, and Tuesday and Wednesday of next week we'll start to get some cooler temperatures back.
Kelly, thanks again. The Schoolcraft Conservation District is hosting its annual native plant sale. Pre-orders are now open online, and pickup will take place during the district's annual meeting on August 27th. There are a variety of plants available, including black-eyed Susans, cardinal flowers, wild columbine, and grasses like little blue stem. The Conservation District says native habitats are crucial for the health of pollinators like bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, and they serve as food sources for both animals and humans.
About 2/3 of the food that we consume is a direct result of pollination, so they are very important. They're also adapted to the environment, so they don't need a lot of care. They're incredibly easy to grow.
The district is also preparing to host other public events in the coming weeks, like a tree care workshop on the 14th and a mushroom foraging workshop on September 6th. Staff say the workshops are fun ways for Schoolcraft County residents to get involved in local conservation efforts.
A lot of people, when they think of caring for the environment and ecosystems, they think on a global scale. It's equally important to protect local ecosystems. Things like helping pollinators in your own community can go a long way to solving those bigger issues.
For more details on upcoming events or to shop the native plant sale, visit WZMQ19.com. Negotiators from nearly 200 countries are in Switzerland this week, aiming to hammer out a landmark deal to curb plastic pollution. But as Tina Kraus reports, there's heated debate over whether to limit the production of plastic or just clean it up.
Strong treaty now! Climate activists are united in their call for change, urging global leaders gathered in Geneva to protect people and the planet.
Our demands are for a treaty that takes a full life cycle approach, cuts plastic production, bans toxic chemicals, and provides the financing that's going to be required to make this transition.
This is the 6th time negotiators are meeting to tackle plastic pollution, and they hope it'll be the last.
People are frankly outraged by the plastic in their environment. They're worried, they're watching, and rightly so.
Thousands of delegates will try to forge the world's first ever legally binding treaty to curb plastic waste. Scientists estimate nearly 200 trillion pieces of plastic float in the world's oceans and say that could triple by 2040 if nothing is done.
Plastic pollution is really driving what we call the triple planetary crisis. It's accelerating climate change, biodiversity loss, and polluting every corner of our planet.
More than 100 nations support not just recycling and cleanup, but also cutting plastic production and restricting toxic chemicals. Still, a major roadblock remains. The Trump administration opposes limits and sides with oil-rich nations that power plastic production.
The urgency is real. The evidence is clear, and the responsibility is on us.
With 10 days of talks underway, leaders say they're pushing for a deal the planet can count on.
According to the Plastics Industry Association, the biggest players in the global plastics trade are the U.S., China, and Germany, with China leading in both production and trade volume. Mike Ludlam has our sports headlines when we come back. The Detroit Tigers face a tough task in defending their home field against the Minnesota Twins. Those highlights when we come back.
Buckles Party Store, it's where the party starts in Calumet, with an awesome beer selection featuring domestic, foreign, and craft brew beer, a great selection of wine, just about any kind of liquor you want, and a great range of tobacco products. Buckles Party Store in Calumet, it's where the party starts for everyone.
It's Diamond Days only at Richardson Jewelers downtown Marquette. It's the perfect time to get her that diamond she's always dreamed of. Loose diamonds are 20 to 50% off. Engagement rings and wedding bands are up to 30% off. We have updated our showroom to give you the ultimate diamond and jewelry buying experience. Come see how diamond buying should be at the UP's Engagement Capital, exclusively at Richardson Jewelers in downtown Marquette.
Richardson Jewelers.
Yes. Oh, hi. I suppose you're wondering what an A-list celebrity like me is doing in a place like this. You must know, I'm saving the world. Oh, hi, Beth. Yep, saving the world again. Did you know that 40% of all the food produced in the United States is thrown away? That means everything that went into that food, the pesticides, the water, the land, was all for nothing. Just look at this perfectly good food thrown in the trash. The pizza with extra Cheerios, these goldfish and Band-Aid tacos. And just look at this perfect trash burger. This pasta dog looks delicious.
You don't have to dumpster dive like Ed Begley Jr. to save the planet. Fight food waste by shopping smart and using what you buy before it gets trashed.
That's way better. Ooh, arugula.
Do your part and find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
Get connected to your community and your world. Scan this right now for weather, news, video, community events, instantly at your fingertips. The app from 19 News.
Good evening, everyone. The Upper Peninsula has only had 4 11 and 12-year-old Major League softball teams qualify for the Great Lakes Regional Tournament. Let's see if I get this in the right order. One of them, Escanaba, reached the 1957 Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. 1961, Menominee made it to the regional final before losing to Terre Haute, Indiana. Now, in 1996, Gladstone was the third one, and they also reached the regional final. The 2025 Negaunee squad was trying to match that feat, but Joe Dost's team found 2 experienced squads in the first 2 rounds of this regional. Yesterday's game against Lexington, Kentucky, Negaunee fell behind early on a wild pitch. Thomas Dix didn't get to the plate fast enough to grab Johnny Junty's throw, and the next thing you know, 2-run score on the play in the top of the first inning. Now, Negaunee was able to answer back there in the bottom of the first with this solo home run by Nathan Harvilla that put Negaunee on the board, trailing 2-1. You'll see on the replay a nice hanging pitch, and Harvilla didn't miss with that swing at all, comfortably over the left field fence. However, Negaunee's offense kind of quiet after that. Harvilla made a couple of very good plays on the defensive end. Nice catch there on the foul pop fly. Negaunee manager Joe Dost wasn't afraid to change pitchers. Callan Johnson with the strikeout here to end a potential rally, but Negaunee just couldn't get things going. Lexington East won this contest 6-1. Lexington was in this regional for the second time in 3 years. Negaunee fell to Hamilton, Ohio Sunday 8-0. That was the 22nd time they've been in this regional, but congratulations to all the players and coaches for a trip of a lifetime. Turning to where they get paid a lot of money in the other major leagues, Minnesota and Detroit tonight. In the top of the first, Cody Clemens, the former Tiger, with a base hit. That's going to be good for 2 bases. Our run scores on the play, and Minnesota leads 1-0. Luke Keeschel. Ow, that one hurt. That one's going over the fence, a 2-run shot, and the Twins are up by 3 after half an inning. We jump to the bottom of the third for the Tigers. Now Kerry Carpenter. He's going to hit a drive to center. Oh, the sun must have played tricks with this one. That ended up landing for a base hit. A run scored on the play, and the Tigers were on the board trailing 3-1. But Minnesota responds in the fourth. Trevor Larnack will go over the Meyer sign in right field for a solo home run. The Twins lead is back to 3. In the top of the fifth, Minnesota adding to that as Ryan Jeffers will get this base hit the center field over the head off the glove of Matt Vierling. Matt Wallner will cross the plate. After review, they had a look at this one more than once. The review said yes, he was safe. And even though the Tigers scored a couple of runs late, Minnesota ends up getting the victory 6-3. These two teams will play again tomorrow afternoon just after 1 o'clock. Milwaukee down in Atlanta taking on the Braves, and we'll pick this up in the third inning with a wild pitch by Joey Wentz. Joey Ortiz scored, Christian Yelich went the second, Caleb Durbin went the third. Andrew Vaughn still in the batter's box and ended up getting a base hit. In the fourth inning, Eli White homered, 407 feet they say, number 7 of the year. Brewers still ahead by the score 4-1. We move to the seventh inning, and this is Isaac Collins with a single to center field. Ortiz scored, and the Brewers led 7-1. Atlanta had a bases-loaded walk in the bottom of the seventh, but that meant absolutely nothing. The Brewers win this one 7-2. Brewers are 25 games over 500 in their 113th game of the season, 69-44. That's the best record in the major leagues. A pair of Upper Peninsula teams collided in the final of the United States National Guts Frisbee Tournament at Marquette's Tourist Park Sunday. Shottle Bop of the Copper Country, wearing white and orange, met Whiskey Disc, wearing a shade of green shirts. Whiskey Disc won the first game, 21-18, had a small lead in the second, and Maximo Miraz's slingshot here could not be caught by Shottle Bop, and that put Whiskey Disc one more point toward that magical number of 21. On the next Shottle Bop attempt, Whiskey Disc snared the Frisbee with one hand. A little showmanship there, never hurts anybody in this sport. Teams only score on offense like old-fashioned volleyball. And Shottle Bop will get a clean catch of the next throw, so no change in score. Shottle Bop will get that one to get the point, but Whiskey Disc had a 20-19 advantage. You have to win the game by 2 in the alternate throws, so that's match point right there. Miraz with the high shot, and it could not be corralled. Whiskey Disc, the U.S. National Guts Frisbee champion, defeating Shottle Bop 21-18, 21-19. Miraz says he was happy to get the winning toss at an opponent who had made life difficult in the past.
I wanted it. I wanted to shoot it on him too. He's ended the tournament many times on myself, so it kind of a little redemption for me. Especially on these hot days, that's really nice. You know, you get to stand behind the line, see how their shots are coming in, kind of get to see everything before you're standing on the line against them. So worked out perfectly. It's exactly what I wanted to do, and finished the tournament 12-0. Guts is like a roller coaster. It's got its ups and downs, and just got to ride the wave.
Third place went to UP Hardwoods, with last year's champion Wolfpack finishing fourth. An Upper Peninsula Sports Hall of Famer from Delta County has died. The funeral service for Denise Porath of Escanaba took place this afternoon. She ran track and played basketball and softball for the Eskimos, graduating in 1974. Played field hockey at Northern Michigan University, where she was a team captain. Porath was inducted into the NMU Sports Hall of Fame in 2006, the UP Sports Hall of Fame 2 months ago. She was a teacher in the North Central School District for 32 years, coaching basketball and golf. She played on 2 state champion fast-pitch softball teams and enjoyed hunting and fishing. Denise Porath was 69 years old. And turning to wrestling, Hannahville native Vida Uskalith Karaha of Bark River Harris has joined the Iowa Western Community College team located in Council Bluffs. She was at 135 pounds in the past season, and Iowa Western has been the national runner-up and had 3 national champions last year. We'll be right back.
The difference between an average morning and a Hardee's morning is hearty goodness that lasts till lunchtime, like our smoked sausage biscuit and Frisco breakfast sandwich. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
At Big Valley Ford in Ewan, we're more than just a dealership. We're your hometown partner in finding the perfect ride. With a huge selection of high-quality vehicles, there's something here for every lifestyle and every budget. Looking for value? We've got one of the largest selections of pre-owned Ford trucks in the UP, all in excellent condition and low miles, along with a huge selection of new Broncos and trucks all ready to roll. Experience the Big Valley difference at Big Valley Ford in Ewan.
The greatest sportsmen and women, icons of our time and beyond. Timeless quality, superbly crafted stories showcasing the greatest sports heroes and their incredible winning moments. The Immortals, the greatest athletes of all time.
Escanaba reporter Lily Simmons on WZMQ 19 News.
Hardee's charbroiled Frisco burger on toasted sourdough and signature mushroom Swiss burger. Fan favorites for over 30 years and counting. Served with 100% Angus beef. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
Tonight's sports is brought to you by the Window Store.
The Window Store Home Improvement Center is your clear choice for quality products and expert installation. We have a thorough and seamless process, start to finish. From the moment you meet our friendly staff, you'll be amazed by their attention to detail. Our team of experienced professionals take pride in their work, and with our 2-year warranty on all installations, you'll have peace of mind knowing your investment is protected. Plus, we service the entire Upper Peninsula. Your clear choice is the Window Store.
All right, final look at your forecast. We have definitely had a hot, hazy, and humid start to August, and the hazy conditions will likely carry in to tomorrow too. We still have the air quality warning for the entire Upper Peninsula until Thursday at midnight. Of course, we know it could get reissued and extended, but there will likely be some relief in the air quality issues, especially down to Iron Mountain, Escanaba, Menominee. Our hope is for that southeastern to really kick into effect, and with high temperatures into the mid to lower 80s tomorrow, you'll want to get outside and enjoy. We'll have some sunshine too, and there might be a stray shower, especially for a Thursday too as we head into Friday. But again, rain will feel nice for maybe the plants that you've been forgetting to water, and of course to kind of help that air quality. But we're into the mid to lower 80s for much of the week and into the weekend too, with a few showers and thunderstorms to close off the weekend, and we're nice and calm to start off next week with temperatures back down to the upper 70s by next midweek.
Kelly, thanks again. And finally tonight, this month, Manasteek's Lake Effect Community Arts Center is hosting creative classes for all. Of Curious Nature Candles is leading a candle pouring workshop on August 14th. On the 16th, the center will host an introduction to Zentangle, a relaxing way to bring designs to life, one stroke at a time. Beginner painters can also enjoy a sip and create event on the 23rd, where they'll create a seascape with acrylic paints while learning the technique of underpainting.
Having classes here at Lake Effect, it really livens up the space and brings joy to the building. We have a class happening right now. It really gets people inside our building to see that we're not just a gallery, we're not just an exhibit, just a meeting space. We are all of these things. We are a community space, and we're meant for everyone.
There are still a few slots available for tomorrow's collage quilting class from 1 to 3 p.m., and you can visit our website to sign up. That's all we have for now, everyone. We'll catch you back here again tomorrow at 6/5 Central. See you then.
Update your home with new GE appliances from Kirkish Furniture in Houghton. GE appliances are built to last, have print-resistant finishes, and offer high performance with energy efficiency. Kirkish has a large selection for both kitchen and laundry, free delivery, and 0% financing.